Hello everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and today let's tie-dye a classic spiral using a one-step tulip tie-dye kit. I pre-washed my 100% cotton t-shirt in my washing machine, and it is now damp coming directly out after a spin cycle. So it's not dripping, but it is also not dry. You really can you can center your spiral wherever you like. I sort of like to start towards the middle center of my shirt, but there's no reason why you couldn't start by the top of the shoulder or down at the bottom of the hem. The way you start this is by just pinching your shirt where you want the spiral to start. You sort of pinch it and then you twist. And as you twist this shirt up, you can see that naturally and twist at the edges of the shirt sort of all come around. And I use my hand to help everything go around the outside and kind of stay in. And then we need to add on some rubber bands to try to keep the shape sort of in place. I am using the rubber bands that come with the tulip tie-dye kit, which are really, to be honest, not the best rubber bands, but we'll see if they snap on me. Now you could rubber band, the number of rubber bands that you add are totally up to you. I like to sort of do it so that all of the rubber bands sort of intersect, just because I think that kind of gives me a nice outline when it comes for drawing on the colors. And I have used a total of 4 rubber bands, but again, you could use more. You could probably get away with even only 2, but keeping it secure, I can throw this around and the shape will stay. So we are ready to go. I'm just gonna mix my dyes off camera and then we'll start applying the dye to the shirt. I mixed the dyes according to the package directions. And one of the things that I really like about these newer tulip bottles is that they come with colored lids, so that way you know what color is in what bottle. So when you end up using the second packet of dye, this ends up being nice and handy. So we've wrapped our t-shirt up, and now we need to start applying the dye in a way so that way we can end up with our cool spiral pattern. And the way I like to do this is by painting wedges, and you can almost use these wedges formed by the rubber bands as sort of a guide for when you add your tie-dye to the shirt. And you could add dye in almost whatever pattern you wanted. You're not limited to doing filling full sections. You could do smaller areas. But the more dye that you apply in each of these sections, the less white you will have on your shirt. And then the less dye you have, the more white you'll have on your shirt. So if you want, like in the example here, if you want something more like this kind of spiral, then maybe you just want to lightly apply the dye to the top versus going sort of all around. And I mean, you could also leave a full section white if you wanted. Now I'm not really following my markings anymore, but sort of going around, and I might choose to add some more dye at the end. But the reason why I like adding dye to a shirt that has just come out of, say, the washing machine is that the shirt is mostly dry. It's not dripping at all. If the shirt were dripping, then you would have a little more trouble here because you would not be able to add as much dye to the shirt. I mean, you can see that the bottom is getting a tiny bit dirty because I don't have it raised up on a drying rack or something, but that's not something that I personally mind. But if you have a wire rack or something, that way you can prevent dye from spreading when you put it down. Okay, let's do, I've used these colors before for. I think I'm going to end up wanting to add another black section. I really like black. So I'm starting with more of a looser coverage, and then I can always add more. But in all of the cases, I'm adding more. These wedges get bigger as we get towards the outside of our little disc versus the inside. Now, I used to do, this was my favorite tie-dyeing method. So I used to dye a lot of spirals while I was in college and when I was in 4th grade, and we were selling tie-dye t-shirts as a fundraiser. You can see I'm now going back and adding more dye to these sections so that way it can penetrate the shirts a bit deeper. But I don't mind if there are white sections. But I have seen that this blue from this, I guess, carousel colored kit does break. So we might see some interesting coloration towards the inside. But anyway, we now have dye applied to our t-shirt. And you can see that, you know, there's a lot of dye in here, but it isn't dripping when I pick it up. And now I am going to place the shirt inside a plastic bag and let it sit overnight to allow the dyes to set to the shirt. And I will come back tomorrow and we will unwrap the shirt and see what kind of spiral we got. It has been about 24 hours since we added the dye to our shirt. And now it is time to take off the rubber bands and see what we got. Ooh, I definitely see some white peeking through. All right. Let's see. Whoa! Oh, funny. As far as a spiral go, this is not my most perfect one. It seems almost like I've got sort of a, it's sort of ovalish in the way that they came in the center. I mean, it's still spiraling out, and this is a gorgeous, gorgeous shirt. The center isn't quite my perfect spiral, but I think that that's probably about the way that I added the dye in the middle. But oh man, that is beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to see how much of these colors actually remain. Right, the thing with tie-dyeing is that you always have to rinse it a lot. But the nice thing about tie-dyeing t-shirts is that you can then put them through the washing machine. Unlike yarn, where you are much more limited in how you wash things out in the end. So what I am going to do right now is I am going to rinse this until I get the water mostly clear. And then I'm going to wash the shirt in the washing machine twice on hot. Well, I guess probably a warm cycle. I'm currently rinsing it in warm water, but I will wash it on the warmest cycle twice to also help remove all of the excess dye. Here is the finished and dry shirt. And isn't it beautiful? I think that the colors of this kit go really, really nicely together. And our spiral is very, very vibrant here. The spiral is a little more oval shaped than what I was going for. I think I was hoping for a slightly tighter spiral versus having this oval starting off. But I think that that's maybe because the first section that I pinched was a little too wide. And then if you look back at when I was tying up the shape, the center was a little more of an oval than a circle. So I think that if you wanted to try for a tighter spiral, I would twist the whole thing a bit tighter when you were starting out, so that way it wouldn't really shift as you added on the rubber bands. Nevertheless, part of the fun of tie-dyeing is that you don't 100% know what you are going to get until you unwrap the t-shirt. And this is really the most fun part of the entire process. And it's something that I don't think I will ever stop enjoying. Here's the back of the shirt. I am surprised by how little pink there is up here in the spiral. It seems like it sort of got overtaken by some of the black and maybe some of the blue. It's a little hard to know. The blue definitely, I know from other projects, breaks into sort of like a purple and a blue. But hey, I mean, the result is pretty, right? I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you for joining me for this tie-dyed spiral t-shirt adventure. My dyeing adventure started when I was 10 years old, and my class was tie-dyeing t-shirts to sell and raise money for the local animal shelter. And today, it is still something that I really love to do. But most of the videos on this channel are not t-shirts. They are different ways to apply dye to yarn. And so this love that started off when I was a kid translates into this whole ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel today. So if you're interested in some other fun ways to tie-dye t-shirts, or are interested in dyeing yarn with food coloring, acid dyes, and even these tie-dye kits, please subscribe to the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel and check out the other videos. Thanks for watching!